Did you know you can generate all types based on your database schema with Supabase? Let me show you how you can do that, as well as a bunch of cool tricks to start your next project with Supabase and Typescript. To create our Typescript development environment with Supabase, first we need to install Javascript client library as well as Supabase CLI. Once we install those libraries, we need to log in our account, Supabase account, through CLI. Once we logged in to our account, we can now initiate our local Supabase project. And then we can link our local project with the cloud one. After we link those projects, we can now generate our types based on our database schema. Let's start with JavaScript client library first. To install JavaScript client library, we can use this command and we can simply paste into our terminal. Okay, cool. We finished installing JavaScript client library. Now we can install this Supabase CLI. You can choose any option based on your operation system. I already installed the CLI, that's why I'm going to skip this part. But you can use any option, whatever you want. After you've finished installing Supabase CLI, you need to log in your Supabase account through CLI, like this. You need to write Supabase login into your terminal, and it needs your access token. And in this page, you can generate your access tokens like this. In our dashboard, Supabase dashboard, there's a page called account and /tokens. You can generate new token, and we can say that Typescript started like this, and it will generate a token for us. But you need to copy and keep this token in your project because it's never gonna be revealed through dashboard again. Okay, cool. We can create a folder called .env.local like this. Supabase access token like this. Okay, cool. Now we can paste this access token into our terminal, and as you can see, we finished Supabase login. Okay, cool. Now we need to initiate our local project with CLI like this, Supabase init. And as you can see, the CLI has created a folder called Supabase. Now we need to link our projects, our local project, with the cloud one, right? Okay, cool. To make this happen, we can check through documentation. Like this. We will write Supabase link and we will paste our project reference, and then we will paste our database password. Let me show you how we can do that. First, let's copy this part, and then we can go to our dashboard and we can get our project reference from the URL like this. And then we need to get our database password. You can reach your database password from the project settings and database tab. If you didn't save your database password when you are creating your Supabase project, you can always reset your database password from this button. you can copy this password and we can keep this in our .env file like this, database password. Okay, cool. Now we can link our projects together, right? Like this. We can get rid of this part. Okay, project ref and the oops, sorry, we need to copy this again like this, and then we will paste our database password. Okay, we can use it here. Okay, cool. We linked our projects at the moment. Now we can create our types based on our schema. As you can see, we have two tables, posts and profiles. Now let's check how we can generate our types based on this schema. To reach this command, you can use documentation. Okay, this command. We will write Supabase gen types Typescript, and we will put our flag like this, linked, because we already linked our projects, right? If we are working in local environment, if we are working with local Supabase instance through Docker, we can use this local flag, or we can pass our project ID, or we can pass the database URL. But in our case, we will use the linked flag. Okay, cool. Now we need to create our file that where we want to generate our types into, right? To make this happen, we will create a folder called types in our project, and inside this folder we will create supabase.ts like this, and then we can clear this like that. Okay, cool. And then we will write Supabase gen types Typescript dash link, and we will put an arrow and types slash supabase.ts like this. And let's check if it creates our types. Yeah, it works. As you can see, we have created our types based on our database schema. And now we need to copy this command and create a script for our project, because we will use this command very often. That's why I don't want to write this command again and again. For this purpose, we can use our package.json file and gen types like this. Okay, cool. When we want to generate our types, we can simply write yarn gen types like this, and it will create our types based on our schema. Okay, cool. Now I'm going to show you how we can use these types in our project with the Supabase JavaScript client library. Okay, cool. Now we need to create our Supabase instance in our project. To create our instance, I will create a folder called lib in the project, and in this folder I will create a file called supabase-client.ts, and in this file we will create our instance like this. I can copy this code block and I will show you how we can inject our types into the instance. We can get rid of this for a second. First, we need to import create client from Supabase library, and we can use this function to create our Supabase instance. But we need to inject our types that we have created through Supabase CLI. To import this type, we can use the file that we have created before, and we can inject these types into instance like this. For the make it compatible with Typescript, we need to put a mark like this, or we can use as string. As we know, this is gonna be always string. Cool. Okay, now we need to export our Supabase instance to use in our components, right? Okay, cool. Now we are ready to use our Supabase instance, which has the types that we have created through Supabase CLI. Now we can use this instance in our project to fetch data, right? To use in our project, I've created a post component where we will display our post name. To fetch data, we can simply go to our home page, and in this page, first let's make this a client component with use client. Okay, cool. Now we can fetch data, but before fetching data, we need to create a state for our posts. Set posts like that, and we need to import use state. Cool. Now we need a fetcher like this, and in this fetcher we will use our Supabase instance like this. Await Supabase dot from. When we write from, as you can see, Typescript brings our tables for us like this. Okay, it's very cool. Now we can use posts dot select. We will select everything. Okay, cool. Now we can return this data, right? If there is error, console log error, else please set the posts for us with the data, right? But we need to get our post type to inject our use state hook to make this compatible with Typescript, right? To make this happen, we need to create another file in our types folder like this, collection.ts, and in this file we will create our post types and we will export it to use in our components. To create our type, export type post. We will use database, and let me check the example first. Yeah, like this. Okay, we can copy this example, but we need to make these tables and posts and row like this. Yeah, we are getting our type from the database that we have created through CLI. based on our database schema. As you can see in database, there's public object. In this object there's tables, posts, and row. And the cool thing about this, when we update our types with the command that we created before, like this, gen types, it will automatically update the post type as well. Okay, cool. Now we can use this post type in our project like this. And this is gonna be an array of posts. Okay, cool. Now we can use this posts in our component, but first we need to fetch this data, right? Call this function. Okay, cool. Now we can, and also we can put this in a use callback hook like this. And we can update this dependency array. Okay, cool. Now we can map through our posts like this, and we will return our posts component, right? But first we need to change the name of our type, because there's a component with the same name. Let me write this as a post type, and we can pass this into our useState hook. Okay, cool. Now we can get our post in our callback function, and we can pass our key into our component. And as you can see, Typescript brings all keys from our post object for us, and we can use post ID, and we can pass the post like this. Okay, now we need to import this component, and we need to change this prop type that we have created before like this. Post is a post type like this. Okay, now we can pass our post into our component. Okay, cool. Let's check if it works. Oops, there's an error with the environment variable. .env.local. Okay, cool. Supabase URL and Supabase. Okay, because it needs to be public, right? Like this. And we need to change it here as well. Yeah, now we have our posts in our component, and our Supabase instance is type safe. Okay, cool. The final thing that I want to show you is how we can manage our relational data types. As you can see, in post table we have a column called author, which is linked to our profiles table. And when we fetch this data like this, star and author like this, we can console.log to see what we have. Oops. It's gonna be author. Yeah, like that. As you can see in our data, we have our post data as well as author data that we get from the profile tables, right? Okay, cool. But if you check our types, as you can see, our author is string or null. If you get author name like this, post dot author dot full name, as you can see, this is not compatible with TypeScript because TypeScript doesn't know if the author has full name property, right? It assumes that it's a string or null. How we can fix this? To fix this issue, I believe that there are different approaches, but I will show you my way to fix this issue. In our collection file, we first need to create our profile types, right? Like this. Okay, cool. Now we can create another type for this purpose because we are gonna fetch our posts always with author in our project. That's why we need to create a type which is specific for this purpose, like this. Export, but now I will use an interface post with author, and it extends post type, but we need to omit the author from the initial type, like this. Omit post type and author, yeah, like that. And for author, we will use our profile types. Okay, now in our page, we can pass this type that we have created into our use state hook, like this, post with author. And to make this compatible with this fetcher, we can use the returns function, and we can pass our type into this function like this, and as you can see, it's compatible with TypeScript at the moment. You can replace the return type with this helper function in Supabase, and I know that they are actively working on a better solution at the moment. I believe that in the future we will have our relational types without creating helper functions like this. And we need to change our type in our post component, post with author, like this. Yeah, now we are cool, and we can get this author name like this, post author not full name, right? As you can see, we can get all the data, and TypeScript brings all the keys for us. Okie dokie guys, thank you for watching this video, and if you enjoy this video, please hit the like button and subscribe my channel to support me.